breathing in the energy, right? Sniffing the air. You breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Never breathing in through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth when you're doing your breath meditations. Because you want to circulate the breath. If you have a partner, if you're in a relationship with someone, sit face to face with your partner, pay attention to their auras, and exchange breaths. See how far you go with that meditation, and then just write down what you go through. It's not for me to tell you what you're going to experience. It's for you to practice and try it yourself. So if you're with your partner, especially if you guys love each other, it's even more effective. Sit face to face. As you're breathing in, she's breathing out. And as you're breathing out, she's breathing in. And vice versa. Sisters, you got that? As you're breathing out, he's breathing in. Or as you're breathing in, he's breathing out. And you exchange breaths. You charge each other up. That's how you're going to keep a relationship stable. When you charge each other up and exchange breaths. It's an experience, it's a partnership. They say a family that stays together, prays together, stays together. Okay. Imagine how powerful it is when you and your partner share breath together. And acknowledge that you share the same breath with the universe. And that this same energy that pervades you also pervades her. The same cosmic life force energy pervades all things. But a special bond and a relationship forms when you and your partner can do this particular tantric ritual. And it is tantric, by the way. Look around your partner's head and pay attention to see if you see their aura. You might also see the person transform in front of you as you're starting to look at their various lives that they've lived and the various forms that they've taken, and vice versa. So it's good that you're both relaxed when you're doing this. Another thing too, when you and your partner can raise each other's energy and then you pray for what you want. And there's ways to do that. You know, that would be a class that we can have one of these days. It's not a class that I just put out in the public right now. Okay? So yes, you can raise the life force of your partner. You can transmute each other's energy in that way. Complementing each other. You guys are complementary halves. Complement each other. Okay?
Sure.
Don't oppose each other. Complement each other. You see, one hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face. See? That's how you cultivate energy between two people. Victory shared, half victory. Twice the victory, right? A problem shared, half a problem. A victory shared, twice the victory. Look at it that way. So you guys both embody the sacred masculine and feminine coming together, and you use that energy and you meditate and focus on the things that you want. Whenever you argue, whenever you fuss, and you have prolonged arguments, what ends up happening is that you start losing energy. When you're in a constant state of fight or flight, you begin to lose energy. You guys start throwing daggers at each other and start to tear at each other's energy field. That's why it's good sometimes for couples to actually have counsel. There's nothing wrong with that. Because you're going to discover a lot of times you can't fix each other. Okay? Counsel. The divine masculine and feminine, there always has to be balance. Get it to work. You know, if you got like you put batteries in your smoke detector, you have to have that plus and minus charge to get it to work. But you see, the problem is that the system has been benefiting off of our energy and using it. So what they do is they keep friction going. And they get you to fight their partner. Fight your partner. And at the same time, they do two things. They can keep the population at a certain number. And also, by keeping the friction going, they can make a lot of money off your disenfranchisement, making that you're not good enough. They teach you that you're not good enough. Not directly, but through suggestion and marketing. You always got to improve.
Sure. Not
just improve yourself, but everything. Always. Oh, well, you know what? And here's the thing. If your partner's a jerk, that's one thing. But the way things are now, people get bored real easily. So, it's one thing if the other person is abusive. A lot of times people get bored with their partner because they figure they can always go and get another one. That's the world in which we live, because we bought into this system. It's capitalism or free open market. Oh, it's okay, my computer ain't working, I'll just go ahead and replace it. My phone ain't working, I'll replace it. I'll get an updated phone, even though they download a virus on your phone and slow it down every 2 years. What's it called? Planned obsolescence, right? But the thing about it, this is a cold thing about capitalism, about this open market. They done taught you that everything can become obsolete. Even your partner is obsolete. So now it's time for me to go on Plenty of Fish and find another one. Now, there's agreements that can be made between partners, whether you want the relationship to go a certain way. Polygamy, monogamy, that's an agreement that's made in partnerships. It's an agreement that's made. You see, the problem is that, look, if you're going to get with someone and you feel it's going to be temporary, nobody is honest with, saying, well, I don't think I'm ready to make this anything permanent right now. They get with the person, and after saying all that, they're like, I'm getting tired of this person. Let's just go ahead and move on to the next person. Again, if you're being abused, get the hell out of there. Okay? But you don't have to make up a complete story about the other person and say that they're a narcissist because you're bored with them. Just get out of it. Just say, I don't think this is working. You ain't got to make up no scenario. Cause stupid fights and all that. Just break up. Just say, hey, this relationship has run its course. It's better to do it that way than to get the police involved. Somebody's going to jail, somebody else is going in the hospital, and all they have to be, is straight up. Talk to, communicate, talk to your partner. That's important. Because you see, here's the thing. Everybody talks about ancient Kemet. They want to talk about the Ankh. They want to talk about divine sacred duality. But when it comes time to practice it, all of a sudden nobody wants to practice it.
Sure.
It's just a bunch of lip service. No, man. How you gonna have a strong community and got weak families? So, back in the day, there was a book called The Unseen Hand. It came out around the time Behold a Pale Horse did. They said they were going to get rid of families. And they basically everybody be subjected to the state. Guess what?
The book said they were going to get rid of families?
Yeah, they were going to get rid of families. They were going to break up families and get rid of the core, the central family and everything else. The family unit. And it's been an attack on the family unit. They've educated you against the family unit. You know, so people say, the hell with having a family. I want to take my career to the next level. It's about a career. Meanwhile, you just kill your whole bloodline off. They found a way to get us to go along with decreasing our own birth rate. They're pretty, yay, I gotta give it to them. These some cold motherfuckers, excuse me. These some cold people.
Super wicked, intelligent.
Yeah. But I mean, shoot. You gotta pay attention to what they tell you on the news. And read between the lines. All of a sudden, they want you to be mad at a black person getting shot. They ain't been mad at no black person getting shot. How come the police always get off? But they have the power to show that same thing over and over again to keep you pissed off and thinking you ain't got no power to change anything. Then they show the cops get off. And then they sit around and say, oh, well, hey, then they show a black cop being corrupt. And then say, oh, well, the black cop is just as corrupt as the white cops that did such and such a thing to this poor black dude back in the day. They know what they're doing. They're playing games with you. And we just sit up there and just eat it up. Then we start turning on each other. I heard somebody said, here's my favorite one. What's that dude, Zimmerman? What's his whole name? George Zimmerman. I'll be hearing cats saying, why is George, well, we can go bang on each other. Why is George Zimmerman still walking around? That just means that we just got weak. No, George Zimmerman ain't walking around in the hood.
Ain't no weak.
So that's the thing. Well, the whole thing about it is that that's a props. Don't even feed into that bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Of course they gonna tell you that George Zimmerman is walking around. So you could think that your people was too weak to do anything about it. Of course they gonna keep showing you, because they gotta show you taking L. And show your kids that you ain't nothing. See, we're not even playing checkers, we're shooting marbles and shit. They're playing chess. Read The Art of War and the 48 Keys of Power. And look at what they're doing. It's all a game. The shit's been staged for all this time. And people just keep on playing into the same bullshit. From generation to generation. You want power? Call upon it. You have it.
Yeah.
We just keep giving it away. And feeling ashamed of who we are. Like Brother Malcolm X said, who told you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate yourself? A lot of us still got white Jesus in the back of our minds, no matter what ATR we practice. It's still in our subconscious. That's why we can't stand ourselves and we project it on the brothers and sisters that look like us. I'm on YouTube, watching YouTube. I'm appalled over the shit we say about each other. Or because you mad, so you get on YouTube and say all the crazy shit about the other side of your race, or your people, or your species. Men and women are not two different species. They're the same species. They're two halves of the same species. You cannot mate with something that is not of your same species. Mm-hmm. But I hear weirdos say, oh, well, the male species and the females, those are not two different species. But that's how we categorize things because we're not being educated correctly. Mexico and Canada is part of the North American continent. In other words, Mexico and Canada is part of North America. But that's not the way you're educated to think. So if you want to deal with education, then you have to pay attention to things and you got to read between the lines. When you look at words, look at their meanings and take them back to their origins. Look at their etymology. Look at the etymology of mortgage. Just look at the etymology of everything that they have, all the words that we use, all the political words, and just pay attention. And you'll discover that these words have a lot of different meanings that are very vital. But we just throw them around, not knowing what we're talking about half the time, because it's part of the dumbing down process. So, you got to take your power back so that you have the energy. And that's why these breathing exercises and working with nature is so important, because if you're tired, if you're fatigued all the time, you're not going to have the energy to do what you need to do. You'll be too freaking tired. You don't even have the energy to get up and meditate because you're tired. You don't even have the energy to do things on time. That's why I'm telling the brothers about how to preserve their energy, because they've been trying to get you to throw that energy out all the time. Like I said, without even the help of a partner, here you are by yourself. Doing the Pee Wee Herman. For all y'all who know what I'm talking about. Okay? So you got to keep your mind in a place of constant focus of what you want to do. You got to preserve the energy to do it. When you say bad things against yourself, you're destroying your own energy field. It's called self-hexing. And a lot of times the self-critic that you hear, you know what that voice is? It's your parents and authority figures that you heard as you was growing up, telling that you can't do this and you can't do that. The shadowy voices that are in the back of your mind telling you that you're not good enough. You know what you do with that? You make those voices sound like Tweety Bird. Make those voices sound like the Smurfs. Take that energy from them. Take the power away from those voices. That's how you transmute it. All those voices that say that you're not good enough, imagine that sounds like some weird cartoon character. Just think of the most goofiest cartoon character you can find and apply the voice to those voices. Apply that to those voices. Take the power away from them. Transmute it. That's how you bring yourself up. If you're all the way down, there's no other place to go but up. So if you're all the way down, there's no other place to go but up. So when you're down and out, the best place to go is in and up. When you're down and out, the best place to go is in and up. Ashe. So when you go back and dealing with ancient African traditions, it's also about cultivation of your character and bringing those fragmented pieces back together. You can access all these orishas from within through your ancestors. I'm not saying that you're not going to have to go through some initiation if you was to deal with